watching us or listening to us. This is Karis TV and Karis Radio. Then, Mawari. Yeka se Mawari I'll say awari pa eye ane awari pa eye ampa. Yada ochedi ampon ase bebre ewo empempen so a odi yen ababa bedru. Senye ne humo bro na dom a ewo yen so a. Bisa ho senka sebre ehi papotin e na wo. Kasebre he papoti ena wo yeka se insura enka ni din bebre na ya de enchia kese enso so ekọ ede maye papa Apostle George Chumesi Anchor General Overseer of Central Caris Chapel yeka se papa yame insura bebre one wasofo nyina ya papa a senior reverend Franklin Ohene Kwapon yeka se yame insura daddy one ya mame Lady Reverend Mrs. Lawrence Ohene Kwapon. The mommy Lady Reverend and Seth Twum Duodu. Yekase nyame onsha mami oni baby insura munyina nyame onsha mu bebre. Yeah papa Reverend Obed, Reverend Samuel Ofori. Munina mone mo ho kafo. Asofo ni nyina tese meka se mebubo dia. Mebubo Inti meka se nyame onsha obibia. Okay, sabe pepe. Enti muhu Obaa Konadu samajimedwa no mo se ampa mawari adwumadie no ena yadru so no. Sabe pepe. Enti ne yen saimre na yade bibia ehyehyehye so no. Chese na intia kese enso so ensan koma ye mame. Lady Reverend Mrs. Irene Tumesi. Yekase mami, yame onsha bebre. Sister Alice, Pastor Alice Osei, Michia Winchia Kesepa Ekoma, Karis TV crew Nina, ya say ya feel near Chiapa, and not forgetting our baby girl, our little sister, Eraya, baby Jazz, Yekase, baby I will be a yami unshaw, Yichia Kesepa. Okay, and all the time, no, Mawari, yes, Yaniama Bebre, Adonia Bribia, and then so no. One crucial topic ewa awariemu ene eba be treaty. One crucial topic say intino say waji waja wo onsa when your notification just share the link to people, your friends, everybody around. Na almost ya die enya nko na wo se usia wo se wo mo obi o won nche so se den esua bi intino Senya ye no da no ye papa ewe yentem inti ye be ma no akwa abasoro pa because he has been a blessing to us each and every week. He comes around to teach us, to educate us on a whole lot of things about marriage because senya me kan dey say aware pa eye efutu atem bia me betna no ma me kan mi sisudua adoni abribia ne say one to boase na wenti afutu a obekwa kwakofa nia enye ato ho so na eno so die ya aka no wa fasoso enti no ya papa ewe yentem ye kate daddy aba pato akwa ba wari adwumadie so na wasan abai ta pepe
Amen show.
Amen.
Yes. Agbemega eliplim se ene dey so na me adumunti asan ababiom ene edin fiemu edin ekoma efiefo nyina the papa ye bishop and salesagbe Cristiano Prosepa na ye nyina ye papa ye general overseer ye Apostle George Chumesi Anchor so din fiemu edin ekoma no ene ye mame Lady Reverend Irene Tumesi Nyankopon Osha ne papa the sign is here the debia meka no me immediate boss Reverend Franklin Ohene Kwapon that's Nyankopon Osha no so it's a very good teacher I mean Osha no I've learned a lot from him so biom koma aso company for Central Caris na the customer bom dia ye Reverend Reverend Bremai, Reverend Obaa, in fact, almost Reverend Adam, that's me, Bobom Dia. young queen that made here a comma suffering the baby of Bobby and Cassette when Uncle Unshomo on your Cassia. Yeah, me who can a year. And I saw what you do, Lady Reverend. Make us say Uncle Unshomo, Papa, or Muslim. Bring a baby, bring a papa, no fantai, to make him. Said ye can't be our idea. The mere wadom, as so now compliment to not to appear. The men are made humano easy. The made Jumaya, Jumabia. It takes a lot of your time.
Okay.
Something sacrifice so time. And so bit me and Yajuma. It's all Warena Sobana and Tia. I said, a young money be Briacano. A man money in your time, my young. Say, Ubi or the Ubi Yamajuma, Nasa, or Yamajuma ye. Most of the time, no, or the men yami, ye kind. Now, or the Diacano, Ama, and your ma aka. Mr. One Tia says, Nasa, Okasa to say, ye, Bia, a Mabia, Yabekan was some more. Community and Tia. That's what I say, you couldn't do your time, mammy. You know. That dia urban sample roads mama we di sem I say you know say say when it's time for the work of God, it is time for God, then ma ejuma no eyemre.
Wow.
Yeah, one of the things that also be face a lot of issues with urban Tia say in so say ene ye ba so ya no pa so asia ba program so enumre so be ba no pa this enumre every day be okoye
on na mention kakra na
onya time mama emanu be kanisa but yes anete otiasie say e dem renu bebre no e nyame adwuma so de be nyankopon so betimi ehrai ntino ejinche mu eni ekoma no ene akeko na mekase nyame onhwa we bia amen
sa utifie no se nia samra nene ahwahwa ekono odi atna na power pa bye. Okay ntino sani amidi kan no me ma obi biara akwaba say afei and wa join ya this is my warrior on Caris TV na ohye oba kukuru ya majima kunya na meti akunya kese mu ise na dia tase misamum nanso metena akunya ni ma me big Obaa Konadu ba kope Obaa Konadu mi ana majima jano ntino se hu mi sei sa na woto hu se awarin semo na ye de ato plate so ye de fork knife ba juje mu no sa pepepe ntino ye guso ye twitwa no o chefa ewo mu no na wafa sa okay ntino enne no ye topic ye ba be ka ho asem no ye papa awari mu no you say maturity in marriage. Maturity generally no maturity then say obi trimo fujon age then what at all is maturity, like the general definition of saying na you who say nipa simesi we no aside marriage, like generally no you who nipa we ya say o nipa we dey or you matured obi because me she obi say me matured like minimum say ni age na or they can and I said then the enlighten what at all is maturity.
Okay, so let say of mommy say you can maturity maturity, let me say it initially this way. No, maturity has nothing to do with age. Okay. Because when you talk about maturity, it's not about age. Now, when it comes to the perspective of humans, now there were a lot of perspectives when you want to deal with a human being, you consider. Now you consider the physical perspective of the human, you consider the mental, the social, so many others. Now, ability for all these to interact effectively with the who a mature person. Now, say, we grow up physically. Now, say, the mental faculty of the person is still like a child. that person is not matured.
Okay.
So that person may be grown, but not be matured. And see, come maturity. It's not about age, like I said. It's about the ability to carefully interact all the various aspects. Now, the social, the mental, the physical, spiritual, all these areas should interact appropriately to give us who a matured person is. Into maturity, nobody is born matured, but you grow into maturity. Okay, and when somebody is mature, that you see the maturity in the way the person goes about his or her things, the way the person thinks, and all that. And then the betcha say, "Obi are matured," and I say, "On matured." So if effectively, one psychologist says that maturity is how best you take decisions. Okay. So briefly, say how good your decision taking is determines how matured you are. Wow. So you all the aspects, but how good you can take decisions will determine how matured you are. And in taking decisions, you take decisions in good times and you take decisions in bad times. So there are people who can take very good decisions when things are good, but when things are bad, their decisions are very poor. So depending on how well you're able to take decisions, how you react to situations, will determine whether you are matured or not.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. So viewers out there, from the definition that he has given to us right now, and yet maturity, let's say,
so job cracker maturity they can't the mature that and yet the fujo and yet a journey and yet journey any nyansa into no be one man it's in your fupa fita but to be an noa so say penny kasasa what I say and yet journal and a chair so be matured.
Okay.
So a journal no chair say only panini like or you're grown. There's a difference between growth and maturity.
Wow.
Every human being will grow. Every human being with time you grow.
You grow.
But not everybody matures. Yeah. So there's a difference between the two.
Hey. So please step back and learn. Because there are some things, there are some decisions you are taking. Now, so Oje is out there. Why you are messy? Oje just say, "Nyasa no, but be na kakra." Into the Mr. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy the program. If you have any questions, any contributions, any comments, you send it via our WhatsApp line 0247 907930. I'm mentioning it out again. 0247 907930. And we will read it. Any questions, we'll answer it for you. Okay. Daddy, please, what is the biblical aspect of maturity?
Okay.
Like the biblical definition of maturity.
Thank you very much. Now, once we are talking about biblical aspects, we have to go into the Bible.
Okay.
Now, the Bible describes maturity in 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verse 11. 1 Corinthians 13, verse 11. So when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. So when I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up childish ways. Now, in this scripture, Bible is describing who is a matured man. Now, it says we can identify a matured man, one, by the way the person speaks. Into how the person speaks, one. How the person thinks, two. And reasoning, how the person reasons or how the person understands. is the third thing. So how the person speaks, how the person thinks, and how the person reasons or understands. That will give us the definition of whether the person is matured or not. Now, obi no more say okasa the level of the maturity.
Okay.
Now, see the issue to one year can so I asked one gentleman and one other lady, Obaa counseling. And I make a chair young man and say, Okufia, bisa you say Ghana economy no kran to see it the same. Let's see your better. You know, naturally, and you'll be an about economy. But here, can't say, or my numaya, will be betting your chair and
yeah.
It is said, ye, onipane kasa. Said you nipano, ebe kasano. Ebe chese unipano, or ye matured, and also ye matured. Iti, ye the issue be to aponoswa. Utie unipano and sema if in the number, ebe chese matured, or and also ye matured. In the marriage, the issues ba apa. Said you nipane kasa, chese ye or ye matured, and also ye matured. In every aspect of our lives, he said you nipane kasa. Ubi onuma. Asem ebe feel no matter no obe ko echi I thought say we no wa ko school kakra fine we again so kita position so and so and asem we timi feel no mba oh what I say intino asem a ebe feel nipa ne no aba no ebe kire say de nipa nya matured and that's matured now secondly the way the person thinks it is said you nipa ne dwene obi ani say de odwene efa situation ho. Now, adwene e deni peti mu no obi wo no ma okọ ba nyina no adwene wo na adwemu nyina nse metwa me nua no sisi no see that kind of thought tells us say you are not matured because adwene wo utum de bia wo dwen hu nyina no enya adwen papa unya ya na nka sema tu nua no unya na nka nenu egu ase it shows you are still a baby because you see children don't have the capacity to think about complex issues. Into no any here na odwin. I didn't na adwin an ka de be dwen say asem ntumi nua ne mungu ase so and so no. On fan dream bi papa na on ye. Na en fan faso mbro. Into said you nipa ne dwen and so e ka ho. Into said you nipa ne kasa de di kan. Said you nipa ne dwen de to so mienu. Any said you nipa no ne nti ase etie. What I say? To say scripture, for instance, the preacher ubi an said your what yeah. Or into no said ye onipa no beti ase ne nti ase tie no determines how mature the person is. Into ye be various levels of maturity, even when it comes to the studying of the word. Into be say obi be fa scripture back or preacher. Also, explain it to some extent. Another person will pick the same scripture and also be called deeper. Yeah. Another person, it shows the level of maturity. It's the understanding about issues will determine whether the person is matured or not. Now, so 3 things here: how the person speaks, how the person is able to think, and how the person understands. 3 things determine maturity when it comes to the biblical sense. Now, there are other scriptures that confirms this. Hebrews chapter 5 verse 14, I say, but strong meat belongs to them that are of full age. In that situation, full age means matured. Even those who by reason of use have their senses exercised to discern both good and evil. Here or can say matured their senses have been trained to be able to discern between good and bad. Obia or matured can determine between good and bad. It is they are the papa to one more say papa nye. What I say. If you are able to discern between good and bad, it means you are matured. When it comes to a bonu, a papa or nafra. Say papa udim, a bonu udim, you cannot discern between the two. It means you are not matured. I didn't know him say way yet. You try to avoid at the end of evil. Avoid evil. So that we can know you are matured.
Okay.
So your ability to discern between good and evil determines your level of maturity. So there may be one more. Yes, I'll see you. We time a young colano. Like A B C D. They say ye what you say. It's 1 year. And you may be one more. Won't find home for from you.
Yeah.
Because you have exercised, you have trained your senses to be able to discern between good and bad, or good and evil. So as you grow, you're able to distinguish between the two. And you know, naturally, no be anyone ma idea born in or no. People want to go towards the direction of the good.
Yeah.
So if you mature, as you mature, you are able to discern between the two. Okay. So now, we've mentioned 4 things here. Now, how you speak, how you think, how you understand, and your ability to discern between good and evil. And then the last thing, I think is related to what you said so far. 1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 20. I say, brothers, do not be children in your thinking, but be infants in evil. But in your thinking, be matured. You know, this one also talks about thinking.
Yeah.
So now, thinking, understanding, speaking, and the ability to discern between good and evil determines who a matured man is, or who a matured person is, when it comes to the biblical sense. So a lot of people, they are you put yourself in those contexts. If you are matured, you know. If you are grown to, you know.
You know.
Yeah. So it's not about growth, it's about maturity.
Wow. So we are still on maturity in marriage. We are still pushing forward. Yes, yeah, and yeah, my baby say after and what joining and that's what I kind of my worry a so and na uti and I was saying okay, daddy, yeah, dive into our real muno.
Okay.
They say who a matured person is, and I say near a qualified will be a man near matured. And the difference between growth and maturity. Will be the types be types maturity. The types be na bibi sa
Now intro no. The types there are types. To mention about 6 of them.
Wow.
6 types of maturity. So we can talk about physical maturity.
Okay.
Physical, social, emotional, spiritual, financial. So these ones, are some of the types we'll be mentioning. We'll be discussing into details.
Okay.
So about 6 of them we have mentioned so far. Physical maturity is very important. Physical maturity, social maturity, spiritual, emotional, financial maturity. All these ones, you need to be matured in all these areas. Then we can be sure say you are matured.
Wow.
Okay. So
6 types.
6 types.
I would love us to dive into it.
Okay.
Now, it's possible. I share near best to be applied in marriage. Then it's a nini now, so announce to me and who need na send it near tia say and tia say woman. Now what's me at dine yeah my
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we can start with mental maturity.
Okay.
Mental. So we can start with physical maturity because that's the commonest one we all know. So as for physical maturity, you can assess with your own observation. It will be when we say mature in the sense of the physical. Now, when you talk about physical maturity, we are talking about how the person grows physically.
Okay.
Now, it is important that marriage is for people who are matured. Okay. So, Obia on matured, no. That person is not qualified for marriage. So, you should be matured physically to be sure that you are ready for marriage. Now, example, Akola wedi 10 years. 10 years. It's not physically matured for marriage because the Akola wedi 10 years no so offer kura offer kura the beya obetumi carry star nyinsɛn no to term the emre so a wawo
no
na owia wasia makola no nofo amana no
we fa ne ho gina
nti no that child no if that child conceives okay if that child conceives it's more risky for her life than for those around because I'm sure you are not going to survive the pregnancy.
Okay.
There are so many issues in pregnancy.
Wow.
You would go through a lot. You have mood swings. You see all these things, and you need to be mature physically. You see all the various parts of the body, to be ready for the task ahead.
Okay.
What I say, in that situation, akola 10 years no for because that child is not ready for marriage. Now, a lot of the time, children who are not matured, when they conceive, they have a lot of complications. So if you don't want to complicate the life of the child, it means they are also mature and sana. Physical maturity, even when it comes to a brand here, maybe I will be 14 years. No, I can't say Obi Baba. Now, when it happens like that, that child is not strong enough to even work and take care of himself, let alone to take care of the woman and the child. The life will be complicated because you're physically matured. Okay, so you need to be physically matured before you go into serious relationship or even into marriage.
Okay.
So that is physical maturity, the physical growth that we see with the person. Now, secondly, you need to be matured mentally. Mentally. Now, to be matured mentally, has to do with decision taking. So decision taking, there are certain decisions that you need to be matured before you can take them.
Okay.
Now, the first one, for instance, is the decision to even marry and the decision to give birth. If you are not mentally matured, you cannot decide to marry. And yet easy. So the kind of decisions you take, will determine whether you are mentally matured or not. So your ability to make decisions, your ability to think, the mental maturity has to do with the mind. So how you can think through issues will determine your mental maturity. It means the person adrenaline said that Juma Papa
relationship be an na all the time Obana na bema before say obey take decision bia na just wako consult ne parents ne mama
consult the parents
not just say
no sir then it means that person in the first place is not mentally matured. See, mental maturity also has to do with your decision making. After making a decision, you should be responsible for your own decision. Okay. So decision now about making, if it goes well, you are responsible for it. But if it doesn't go well, you are responsible for it, and you don't blame others.
Okay.
Obi wanuma adena nko yipe. Then you start shifting blames.
Yeah.
Then it means decision and kasani na take here. So if a woman is married, I won't limit it to a woman because there are some men who also consult their parents before they take decisions. Every decision they have to consult.
And mommy's boy Yeah.
Decision be obey no. I just say for consulting the mommy, but you are married. So it means that you were not matured before you even got into the marriage. The mental maturity was not there. Until now, when something goes wrong, who do you blame? It's not bad to consult sometimes, but when you are always consulting, that's where the problem is.
There's a problem there.
Every time. So we want to cry even on any couldn't take a decision. I just send my bem. Just send papa bem. Sometimes on any couldn't take a decision, we cry. I just send papa confirm it and I need confirm it.
And I'm implement it.
As no more implemented. Until on any couldn't take a decision area, and I do. Come on, come on, take your decision area, So say, I get here. I just can't be more or semi no one come. after the command by a dear command, say I didn't kind of my sister magic.
Oh, the one saying,
what consultation. It's not you couldn't take a decision, cry. The parents or the friends or people from the workplace can influence the decision. Who are changing our dream. See, people who are not mentally matured cannot take a bold decision. They are not sure. They want somebody to take the decision for them and all that. So when it happens like that, it shows you are not mentally matured. So everybody should be able to, those who are mentally matured, to be able to take decisions and be responsible for them.
Okay.
What you are saying, you know, to take a decision. Say, Obaa we na me worry no. My mama say, oh yeah, sure. Say, we are na me pay. It is okwa worry na say. Say you do, ayo ono decision. Into no, obetimi a handle situation. No moment in the situation ono entimi make a decision. Na ne mama akwachi Obaa ben say worry no. After the okwa worry na yeda.
As a mama son aye.
Make us say me so worry. Ona ask me okwa worry. Into no, that person is not mentally matured enough. That is it when it comes to mental maturity. Yeah.
Wow. But you do baby African yaka.
Yeah.
Messages baby baby. Me kind be. And there are lots of people so I'm joining almost sharing with our discussion. Wait for you also for Evans Benyega Ellie or say a matured person is one who can take responsibility.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm saying that the official questions be stop and you know.
So for them, they same way they come on the path.
Oh no, be also for Evans or say someone too does not show any emotions. Okay, or the back could be by answer. Or besides, I'll say please explain the emotional maturity well for us. Papa Gusu explain forms ni na the types ni na what boss sex so we explain it too physical and mental. Intino ye Gusua ye explain it ko. Inti se siya ne de so far ye explain it too. And I believe that you know, yeah, intino papa also for Evans or say papa explaining emotional maturity, no.
Okay.
Now yes, yeah. After your son says someone too does not show any emotions or act as if they don't have any feelings.
As if they don't have any feelings. The feelings are.
Is that one too mature?
I'm going to show feelings beyond. Hey, you're more job inside here.
Oh, or the examples, now the example is when something happens, they act as if they don't care.
They don't care.
And, you know, hey, if yourself even say, explaining emotional maturity now, I believe say, obete, bidia, ase, ewo honomo, yeah. Mosan say, I say, Papa, but is physical mentality very key in marriage?
Physical maturity.
I'm sorry, yeah, maturity.
The physical maturity, like I explained, no. If the person is not physically matured, it means will be over 10 years. What I say. Now, a branch with the 12 years. Also, Akola with 8 years.
Hey.
How is that possible?
Nah, what
I say, so they are not physically matured. Now, you with the from anymore. No, be a with the Akola with 8 years. No, for Ben or Bemakola. Or what? That one, the uterus is not matured.
Okay.
And the person might not even have any breast to breastfeed the baby.
Say they are not the same for no about no more.
The complications will outweigh the benefits. It's no one physically mature that it's not advisable to allow them to engage in any form of marriage or whatever.
Wow.
See, even a child of a young man, 10 years and all that, you know, you may not even be able to produce terms to impregnate a woman. So physically, you are not even matured. So it's very important.
Key. Wow.
It's very, very important. Physical maturity.
Mr. Papa, Nick, I also think if you are a matured person, you don't discuss your issues publicly, and you know what to say, especially when you and your partner are in public. Okay, so that is social maturity. Okay. Yeah, we are coming to that. Social maturity. Once he has brought that, when it comes to social maturity, it has to do with how you interact with people around. Okay. How you talk to people around, how you react to situations around you will determine if you are socially matured. And you'll be an so could do bedroom now count there be on my issue in marriage. Now or the partner be a fufu now so the partner saloon. Now the partner say open place we no the road. That's socially maturity. They're not socially matured. Now apart from all that, one aspect of social maturity also has to do with how you dress. Okay. Your dressing, your ability to dress appropriately when you go out of your home will determine if you are socially mature. Wow. So how you dress, are you able to dress appropriately for the occasion? See, in our context as Africans, normally, we all agree, say, and I say it's accepted, so we better yeah. And when it has to do with Hana Coco and I say Bibia dark colors. Then when it comes to Bibia a year and EGA and all that. It is a year called wedding. No Biba no I share black. No I share shade black. No they are better not wedding. Naturally no. You see, you're not only dressed no be to me enforcing say chinchina men share and I say no be say black about wedding as here. Biblically, there is nothing against it. Yeah. Okay. But Obia who say, says bra we be okay. And now say better what say that So I didn't cost nini oh yeah one year it's the same way so say you call a year say na say onipa na wewu yeah, maybe a young lady, another young lady aba. No, no, so white. No, diasa. No, bunimu any idea. We have a we dear. It does not show social maturity if you don't dress appropriately for an occasion, especially when there are socially accepted codes of dressing and all that. It is your ability to dress now. It's a nurse for nursing training now. You are supposed to be in a green uniform with the bands according to your level. Yeah. Now, say you will be nursing training. Now, say instead of wearing the uniform, or maybe not a soldier full uniform, not your better na class. So, Ubia and country clubs will be socially on dressing appropriately for the occasion. Your dressing determines your social maturity as well. Now, how you speak in public also determines if you are socially mature. Now, when you go out, only respect. You talk with mutual respect. Okay, you don't talk anyhow. You don't shout anyhow. You don't people or need respect in the social setting. No. Yeah, me my buy you be on. Or nya no so sere wa ya. Oh, as or him you no nim ne ho. Sa onim ne ho. O nya start so me nim say wa shanda o. There suban you. Me share suban because I got it. O paitire mu ha. Was ni na be sisi. Inti we no. India when you in the you also talk. Okay. Like I was saying,
is very important. You know, even in a social setting, you know, your ability to say please, the ability to say I'm sorry. Maybe when you offend somebody, sometimes even when you don't offend anybody, and then a some number would be, you know, I'm sorry. So it shows maturity. What I say, your ability to say please when you are talking in public, it shows maturity. So these are some of the things that in a social setting, you know, like we explained earlier, how you talk and all that, how you communicate with people will determine how matured you are. And you'll be on the little thing who would attempt. Who would attempt now or two young Pia. Now or all those things are signs of immaturity. And you know, said yet or any panel any idea no. Ubia or your matured men as you know we will need because I send you a company who can say a can't be drum. But I can't be bedroom. And I am my Ubi or your matured no. When you go into a social setting, it be any baby work. Said the okasai, said you'll be heavy, you know. And when you come back home, there's something we call reflective thinking. Okay. Reflective thinking, you know. After say wakasa nipem, after say woni nipa interactive. Anyway, you know, when you come back, you reflect on all those things. I say we not can say mechanism. I say we are mechanic. Let me say mechanic be do. I say me are mechanic. Come de me patcho she hanke. Oh, say the make say e be an sister we nyanje. So you reflect on all those things so that you can make the necessary corrections when you go back into society. Okay. You see, when you're able to apply the reflective thinking, it helps you to mature socially. You see, when you come back again the next time, the last time you can't say we no reflect you so one can hear. So this time round, you know how to say it well. Wow. Now, when you do the reflection now, when you come, you know, sometimes ABR. Be a small program in church. Now what found who I should go to be and as what was share 3-piece agbada. It's after your buy no. Who said you'll be taking your mark come now with your my overdressing. It took us next year you reflect over it. Until next time when there is an occasion you would dress appropriately to match up. What I say. So I read the story of a very great man of God who on the back echo programmer. He dresses very simple. But in the band no address kuntain. That's on no moment. On no yet program no invite. Meanwhile so no kujani papa keke. Hey. Nti wa okoja obi no. Umo address saying the okoye na de. So when it happens like that, one share the opportunity to even work with a great man, you will lose it. Yeah. When the first time, not address more than when you go and do your reflection, you do reflective thinking now. Realize no, the other day, this is the situation. So next time when they call me, I have to tone down. What I say. So all those things will determine if they will invite you again or not. And see, when you bring that into marriage, as you go out with your couple, what you are worried for, the way you interact within the society, or the social setting, is very important. And yet, abra ya ko nipa mu no na bia Obaa na ye bibi no akobọ nsotro wam ati ase akobọ nsotro wam o nipa mu oh mira aden no wam nsotro no ase abọ ugu so kasa wa ha na sotro shem
men kan just make us say ngasa
you do nipa mu make us say you see, so when it happens like that it means you are not socially mature. So even when in the society, when you go out in the midst of people, say bibi anko ye krampo na ebia enye honom na ube show your anger. Okay. There. Say ebia you take things cool when you come home. Then there was on the correction there was no And now say even if you want to do it there and then, there's a way you go about it. So all those ones will determine how socially matured you are, how you even behave as couples when you go out.
Okay.
See, so couples be on when they go out, they don't want anybody to know they are even married.
Hey.
Who be down? I see if you could do nipema or quine.
Oh my worry no.
Or quine, Miss Come quine. You could do nipema, and you nipema never shower. Or quine.
Hey.
There's a problem with social maturity. So if the person is married, you are married to the person. There's nothing to hide anymore.
Because my worry.
They are my worry.
Obianim.
So yeah, in the Pemuna better so media may empower someone. And you stay single. Stay single because once you are married, everybody knows you are married. There's nothing to hide. So when you go into public and all that, even in public class, in the social setting, no, the spouse person didn't come up,
wow.
Yeah, didn't come up. See, all these things, no, are signs that the person is not socially matured. And the person needs to work on that aspect of the life. You know, that is social maturity.
Wow. Hey, social maturity. This social maturity thing. But also for Evan, say this social maturity is very important because I have some ladies who are always discussing their issues on our WhatsApp platform.
Oh wow. That's immaturity. See, the last time we talked about communication, we mentioned that when you have issues, you don't discuss them on social media. It is social media, so social maturity.
That's social media.
What I say, social media has exposed the social maturity of a lot of people. A lot of people will display their ignorance on social media. So, and you know the person is not matured. You know, when I read the status of people on social media, I can determine the level of maturity of those people.
Wow.
Because I didn't know Bibinya not Jabeto. Bibinya we will start on small volume. It is so when you broken heart now the social media, you deserve it. See, when you're matured, it's broken heart and obenya. It's if you are discussing private issues on social media, then what kind of help are you trying to get from social media? As I say, on platforms now, there is a platform on how do you call it, Facebook. So I've been reading some of their comments and all that. People discuss detailed issues of their marriage on that platform. And now me feel you by one mediane. Why yes, not Jabeto social media. Then you see how the kind of useless comments and advices people give. See, and if you are not careful, and any of these type of unnecessary advices get into your head, you destroy your marriage. Because then you decide to misbehave because of a
advice neighbor no can you talk.
You see, so that is why I'm telling you that by the biblical description of maturity, for instance, I'm not going to social media, and people are discussing my marriage, people are insulting my wife, people are doing all that.
You are still staying with that same woman.
You've not left the woman. So it means that that person lacks understanding.
Yeah.
You don't even understand what marriage is in the first place. And your level of thinking is below average. As I say, because if you were thinking wisely and you were thinking well, and you understood the marriage principle in itself, they are saying, Facebook to be in discussing. When you're matured, that person was not ready to marry. So maturity, like the Reverend Evans is talking about, when you have issues, I'm sure with this one it may not even be marriage per se, but people in a relationship. So if you are in a relationship and you are discussing your issues of relationship on social media already, don't take your time. Because So when it comes to that, pushes us into emotional maturity. You should be able to control your emotions. As I said, when you are people who are emotionally not matured, no, when they have issues, the way they react will determine that they are not emotionally matured. So, if I know say, only the boyfriend and yourself, will be good in the master. Will be taking decision, will be we no when you know. It means that you allow your emotions to lead you. So when you are emotionally matured, you keep your emotions in check.
Okay.
So if you're able to keep your emotions in check, then it means you are matured emotionally.
Wow.
Now, when in that situation, you know, if you are emotionally matured, a lady or any boyfriend or and then I'm a former bro, former say a friend or can see, I'm prepared to marry. Now, omenya issue. Anytime you omenya issue, be no funny phone, no jabo po, no apaya no. In that situation, you know, see this person is not emotionally matured enough to even marry. Because the issues of marriage, no, unya worry mpo, na o pai phone, enche bi o pai TV, enche bi a unya bibi ampaya uti no be pai.
Uwo mu ano no.
Ota bibi no nya hwe fa mpaya na. Eyi uti no de bebo.
Uwo mu ano no.
Emotional maturity, no, is very important. Those who are not emotionally matured, no, you see, they are interrelated in a way.
Yeah.
What I say, because they went to me on keeping emotions in check, you know. They say the Americans see or man emotions leading, no, and all that. You know. Say, me ne me yere, na say me emotions, when me check emotions, I'll bring it into the society.
Yeah.
Because I'm not emotionally matured, no, it will show in my social maturity. When we go into the society, me mo be who say me no issue. It will be able to say, papa we ni mami omo. Emotional immaturity is linked with social immaturity. So if you are not emotionally matured, emotionally you are not matured, it will show in how you behave.
Wow.
When you go into public. So social maturity and emotional maturity, you know, they are interrelated. Now, in the same manner, no, your social maturity also determines, you know, your physical maturity has an influence on how you behave publicly.
Okay.
See, I call it say, "Oh, baby, na nkola oha." I call and fan so be dia agro. No kika nkonya no ye dede, no ye we oni akola oni ye. Intino so when you realize that
yeah.
So, your physical maturity, no, will determine how you also behave in public. Can you pay share? So, I call out the infano. Yes, a change, and fan also be 5 times. No, mammy, penny, I won't worry. Oh, penny, I won't worry. Oh, no, so for no, what GBS and Tumum. Oh, what GBS and so.
Ubisana no, I thank God,
we are not saying about Contocase, only Pano, much a mamma. Oh, and I didn't know you did or catch with me once with the so that person may be an elderly person with me 40 years, 50 years. But that one, even though physically, you know, when you grown, but when you're matured. So you see how you behave in the society, you know, determines your social maturity. Then your emotional maturity also comes in. So I was trying to say, sir, if you are not emotionally matured, you may not be able to mature well when it comes to the social aspect.
Okay.
Because your emotions, you know, will carry you into the society. And fan who say, as I send the book put in the would them, you know, if you do be German, so Obisana some more or Betiano, we do not come. And the focus are simply so. Oh, oh, then my baby. Hey, social maturity.
The one I was only romantic.
So you see, that aspect of being romantic, you know, comes under social maturity. Hey, social maturity is very important. So, emotionally, you know, the way you keep or sustain your happiness has to do with emotional maturity as well. Into no be all no ma. Onim how best sustaining Nenije. Nenije no is related to how people treat him or her. Into what say ubi a can want some money. Say sister assume si de na kwa. Obedu fia obesu sa no dwen ho. No yes say hey nti sa na nyame amom yie. Anyway no so no tete ontimi nda ontimi ndidi. That person is emotionally immature. So your happiness is based on what people say about you and not what you know about yourself. If you want to keep your emotions in check, to the extent say obi can be bia, say obi won nani ajepa o but obi nya ka asem ne pe.
Na asem ni bibia.
Now, emotional maturity also has to do with mood swings. There are people with mood swings. Okay, but, you know, emotionally immature people easily have mood swings. Mood swings. Akrebi ana. Akrebi ana. Obetimi abetina enipadomu. Yes, you on sleepy. After almost so no point to hold non or stressful. You know.
Say being so ana afem no because me na me wadan for BSHS. Ya kan asem na esere no. Ono hu ni say esere. Minim say afi na adwen no receive information na you know. Ya sere awie no. Na afi no so ne sere aba.
Normal. Normal. Ya ka asem awie no. Ye na ya sere aye twemu obi a ni na no so bu no nko esere. Oh there be ade na tia faso. Normal. You know, I was saying how you control your happiness, you control your sadness, determines your emotional stability or emotional maturity.
Okay.
See, assembly one no ma, but imagine, I've seen a situation ubi na downfall, and na ono na downfall ne mama ewu, na mo kwa yie. Afọ mo kwa yie no, de ne mama ewu no, even though osu, but in a gentle way. De okoja ne mo mesu bi ne ho nyina efom.
Oh,
I know I said say. Emotionally no onye matured.
Hey, onu mo ma nya ne mama.
Onu mo ma asem ne mfa ne ho no, wadi asem.
Onu koja keke.
Yeah. The same way obi onu ma ye be wedding, do ye no wedding no. Onu nani age, but the original chain no. Oh, pasa no di tesi form. Now, ade. You know how you control your emotions. You know, normally emotions has to do with your feelings.
Yeah.
But I said feelings. You know how you control your feelings, whether you are happy, whether you are not happy, and all that. How you control it, and you have to keep it in check.
Okay.
It shouldn't go beyond. It shouldn't go below. It should be in check. So as you are able to keep it in check, you go with it. And when you mature in it, it shows. It will be one more when everybody is so sad and all that, even though he is also sad, but he is the strong one to be able to calm them. So, and all that. Emotional maturity is also very, very, very important. Even in marriage, when you marry somebody who is not emotionally mature, a hard dream, papa, in the sense that, only obi air casem, instead say obi abetre na dream. No nko esusa. Asam no kwa obeni aka, untimi nkan kodo ewiye. Na ade no so kwa obi onye emotionally mature no. Oni ni di ago fi sisi ana ne buofu. Ade na ya agro keke ni edi o.
So
the person cannot only any sense of humor. Into who can say ma e wo se nyina ye sere krampo na onsere.
Nteba ne sana oni ne nkomodie mu no.
Obeka bia you are cautious.
Yeah.
Oh. Say ebia ade no krampo na oye no krampo no. Wa ya ade anya ode. You want to let him know say me kunu ana me yire ade we say ni no. Ankoyi amame. Now when you try to communicate with feelings say ebia ade na course no anya me de. Mona the bofu, no kasa. No we for 10 days, for 1 month, no kasa. You see, so when emotional maturity in the conflict resolution in marriage, for example, is a problem. Because when you say make okay, we should grow to the extent that we can tolerate each other. When we are emotionally mature, that you tolerate me, I tolerate you. I am open for you to be able to say it, so that when I also say it, you don't get angry. You see, so that is the aspect that a boy, when it has to do with emotional maturity.
Mr. Wedie, yeah, come back to also for Ivan's question now. Okay. Social media stuff. No, Obisa say almost so no. I don't know. A secret na I say why any home and family home or no so no emotionally no. No can be say almost
normal. And normal. I say be a assembly, that one we call it a flat affect.
Okay.
Flat affect, I didn't yesterday on straight. I didn't reho on show trade. And answer to you it's a sign of it's a psychotic disorder.
Okay.
And one of the signs of schizophrenia. It's obi otisano emotionally when you're mature. Because until me identify which side can pull, say the near no, that is not a good sign of somebody who is emotionally mature.
Wow.
So people who are emotionally mature, they show emotions appropriately. They show emotions appropriately. When they have to be happy, they are happy. When they have to be sad, they are sad in an appropriate manner. So
maturity in marriage. Wow. And yet bibi tra keke. We are really diving deep. Yegusu esiana it's really getting interesting no. Na yemre no egusu kwa na eko. Because they say na me te hayi adena aye nika but yemre na kakakre bi pe. E asemo enti no etiefo eni ahwefo se senya yemre no egusu botia ye no yemese ne aka no baba yemese ye kan ebia types no ba ku bi ana me ni bi ka ho a ne aka na we se ye be ne part 2 ni ye diving into it very well na no so no. Okay. Because yemre na asia ne sa
okay.
I think I'll read some few messages. Christopher Tay, Columbus 1. I say, God bless you, mommy, for your hard work. God bless you too. Also for Christopher, Nyame Onshrow. Reverend Evans, I say, so this means that those who always want public attention needs to learn how to be socially matured.
Yeah, that's very true. Very, very true.
Wow. Lady Reverend Irene Chimesi, or say a real learning platform. God bless you. We are really learning a whole lot of things. But but Mamusu, next week, part 2 of maturity in marriage. Maturity in marriage, part 2. Messages coming up. Also for Evans, I say no, this one is from Nana Kwame Afriye GH. Nana Kwame Afriye GH. I say, I am really enjoying the program. God bless you, Reverend Seth and stuff for Obaa Konadu. God bless you too, Nana Kwame Afriye. God bless you for watching. Oh, maturity in marriage. Maturity in marriage. Wow. And then, minimum the Messianian bebre. Honestly, I've learned a whole lot, and I hope you also have. But our time is due. And you don't worry. Next week, questions be our maturity. You send it through our WhatsApp line. Send your baby to a journal 0247 90 79 30 0247 90 79 30. Now you best share a kinkai ama kama ebehwe ne akenkan e de ama kama and I send you Jumedi no I de na I kama to say abroso because I told you that all the time, each and every day we're getting bigger and better. Yes. And then wow to me who say discussion no a real what they are saying because share types now in necra 3 times I to me I delve in emuedu na Michelle Boston next week. Yadi ni aka bia ene nse mi se bia aka ewo maturity in marriage muno ebe brew sa pepepe enti no meka se enchia kese pa enkoma obi biara ene aseda PSA enkoma obi biara o share ye onya bre etie ye e ka se nyame o nhira mo bebre nyame onya mo kese ya mi somo na ye mi je bebre se munya bre na mo share na mo tie ye ya mi o nhira mo bebre. Not forgetting our father, Apostle John Chimesi Ankra, and my Lady Reverend Mrs. Irene Chimesi. Yakasi nyami onsha mu bebre. Asoppo was central carry na yakasi salute mu nyina yadamase. Certain bia no mo boy chidom, mo bo mpaye e de tie chi na ye dwumadie egusoa e den ekonanim sa pepepe. Yeku mu nyina yakasi nyami onsha mu bebre e wa dwuma pa a moye. Amaye for Evans Agbenyega nyame onsha bebre Janet Kodikodia most of Columbus really big biglia to say because nyame onsha bebre e jumapa amoyo but answer na ye be fi ejuma bi so no ya papa 1 or 2 bia obeka anata mepesa obeka nko for back me ni be chia o enti no papa answer na ye be fi ejuma bi no so no me jibi se in same credit actually for and some next week the part 2
okay what I say Seth Mami we share the papa Apostle John Chimesi Ankra no penny ya mama Lady Reverend we share the papa and then no penny after what you do the Lady Reverend we share the beer we share back praise ministry now when I'm in Shabia. The whole church, you know, when I'm in Shabia, I'm having a district joint service in Utah. Okay. And you know, in my this year, Utah Church of the Period, I'm sure I'm a Christian. In I am not sharing them. In Say, bring down clients on the 1st of May, and for the Children's Conference. You know, you're paying them. You and Mano after Bumana, Katina, and Yasan. We party, we are the curtain, assign a party of the mountain. Now, Saturday, I had there, always meet you and them in the share a trip in another share with you.
Amen. The papa says about the but that is our banner. It is still on the tribes, but the tribes now young can want some money. If you are the Russia part 2, and it's actually I'm not taking it. And so also my final question is about financial maturity. Many think that money is only the main reason why we need to marry. Can you explain more? In the next financial maturity. And then yeah, can you know? Yeah, the Russia part 2, which is next week. And please, next week, you know, meet us again right here. Carlos TV studio, I say, now we send the Sabia, other types, no, the better sentence, I'm a what's here, I'm a when you're moving. Now, other questions, so I will want to matter, so I will decide upon Say, we now the baby say I'm when you want to see you. And to me, I'm on share the brain, I'm on share of the say, join me, and now and then to say, I don't know warrior and brain. So, we want you know, and the air or what the thing be on the Unabu out here and I'll show you. That's I'm on share with you. You go with you, and so I'm on what? It's here. So the I can look at me, share, now we are the more class, sorry, it is right. And see you sometime next week. This is my wife, my crowd. What